Someone once said, "If you think Marilyn Monroe was bold, you've never seen Diana Dors." Starting her career at just 14, Diana quickly became a box office phenomenon and the pride of British cinema. But that very fame also brought a trail of scandals. She shocked the public with her lavish lifestyle, wild parties, and tangled relationships. After her death in 1984, it was discovered that she had left behind a mysterious fortune, locked away and divided into 2 coded keys, one for her husband and one for her son. What was this secret, and why did she do it? Only by following the rest of this story will you uncover the dark side behind her legendary beauty. Before we dive deeper, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Grab yourself a warm drink, maybe a cup of tea or just water, and sit back as we begin this journey together. Diana Dors was born on October 23rd, 1931 inches. Swindon, Wiltshire, England. Her father, Albert Edward Sidney Fluck, worked for the railway, while her mother, Wilfrid Ma Mary, was a devoted homemaker who poured all her love into her family. They weren't wealthy, but they kept their modest home filled with the warmth and order of a middle-class household. Swindon was a sizable town, yet still far too small compared to the dazzling world of cinema, the place where a future star like Diana truly belonged. From an early age, Diana wore elegant dresses, took dance lessons, and frequently visited the cinema. It was during one of those film outings that her passion for movies was born. She became especially fascinated by glamorous Hollywood stars like Jean Harlow and Lana Turner. But that was only the beginning. Although she wasn't particularly interested in academics, Diana excelled in voice and elocution classes. This skill gave her a maturity beyond her years, and that alluring voice became her first ticket into the entertainment world. However, Diana possessed another weapon that made it hard to believe she was still just a child: her strikingly mature appearance. While her voice could captivate an audience, it was her gaze and poise that truly set her apart. At only 13, Diana made a bold decision to transform her image. She dyed her brown hair a bright blonde, learned how to apply makeup like an adult woman, and practiced a graceful walk in front of the mirror. It was a daring gamble, and the moment she left her childhood behind. At 14, Diana entered a modelling contest organised by Soldier magazine, which was searching for a glamorous pin-up girl. She lied about her age, claiming to be 17, wore a red and white swimsuit, and made it into the top 3 finalists. That victory wasn't just a thrill. It was her first lesson in the power of boldness, and sometimes of deceit. From that moment on, Diana realised the world doesn't reward honesty. It rewards those who know how to make others believe what they want them to see. That small success opened the first real door for her. Diana began working as a photo model and soon set her sights on the stage. She knew that beauty alone wouldn't be enough to take her far. So she continued to play the part of an adult lying about her age to gain admission to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, LAMDA, one of the most prestigious schools of the time. There she studied Shakespeare, fencing, facial expression, and the art of immersing herself completely into every character. The youngest student in her class, Diana amazed her teachers with her determination and intensity. At just 15, her undeniable talent landed her first professional film role in The Shop at Sly Corner. She played a flirtatious woman, a part that required her to hide her true age. After a few sips of alcohol to calm her nerves, Diana delivered an outstanding performance and was paid $24, the very first earnings of her career. Though her name didn't appear in the credits, she was deeply satisfied. Her journey in cinema had officially begun. However, she still needed one more thing: a name worthy of a future star. Her real surname was Fluck, a name that, if misspelled by just one letter, could become a complete disaster. So following her mother's suggestion, she took her grandmother's maiden name Dors. The repetition of the letter D made her new name flow smoothly and linger easily in people's minds. From that moment on, Diana Fluck disappeared, making way for a far more glamorous identity. Diana Dors, the new icon of British cinema, destined to shine. But that light never came without a price. As a young actress in London, Diana quickly faced the darker side of fame's dream. She was barely entering the industry when she met the nightmare that haunts every newcomer: the staggering cost of living in one of the world's most expensive cities. To make ends meet, she started modelling for the London Camera Club, earning £1 an hour, a generous rate for the time. Yet, behind the glitter of those photo sessions was an unsettling reality. Many photographers demanded their models pose nude. And the most shocking part, Diana was still underage. She knew exactly what she was doing, and so did her parents. But instead of stopping her, they allowed it. In Diana's eyes, it wasn't sacrifice. It was survival. It was the only path forward. "If the world demands boldness," she once said, "then I'll be the boldest of them all." And indeed, Diana Dors never looked back. No star ever truly shines without a headline-grabbing nickname, and soon the press showered her with them. The Siren of Swindon, the Storm in Mink, and most famously, the blonde Bombshell. With her platinum hair, crimson lips, and voluptuous figure, Diana quickly became Britain's ultimate sex symbol. The media dubbed her the British Marilyn Monroe, a comparison that filled Dors with both pride and resentment. She knew all too well the trap behind such flattery. The press wanted to create a British clone of Monroe, someone to compare, gossip about, and eventually tear apart. When The Asphalt Jungle, the film that launched Monroe's stardom, premiered in the UK, one major paper wrote, "She looks just like our own Diana Dors." To Diana, that wasn't a compliment. She wanted to be remembered for who she was, not as someone's shadow. But the era she lived in didn't give women that choice. The price of sensuality often came with punishment. In the 1950s, showing even a glimpse of the forbidden could endanger an actress's entire career. Dors experienced it firsthand when the American Film Censorship Board temporarily banned Lady Godiva Rides again, simply because her navel was visible. To appease the censors in another film, My Wife's Lodger, she had to shoot the same scene twice, one version for Britain and one for America. In the US version, she was forced to wear a high neck top to cover the offending area. But Diana was never one to surrender. At just 17, she landed her first leading role in Diamond City, a story about a South African town swept up in a diamond rush. Dors played a beautiful, alluring, and complex bar owner who falls in love with a man society deems dangerous. She acted with raw passion and instinct, as if it were the only chance she'd ever get in her life. But fate was cruel. Diamond City bombed miserably at the box office. As her career hit a rough patch, her love life began to spiral into chaos. After filming Diamond City, Diana got involved with Michael Caborn Waterfield, a charming, stylish but shady man the London elite called Dandy Kim. Their romance lasted 2 years, filled with lavish parties, sports cars, and flashing nightclub lights. Michael would later become the founder of Ann Summers, a chain of adult stores considered scandalously bold for the time. Yet beneath the glamour lay his true nature, a manipulative schemer with ties to the criminal underworld. When Michael was arrested and sentenced to 2 weeks in jail, Diana finally saw the truth. She had been nothing more than a glittering accessory in his life. Beautiful, dazzling, but ultimately worthless beyond decoration. When her lover fell from grace, Diana thought peace might return. Instead, destiny led her into the arms of Dennis Hamilton, the second man who would drag her life into deeper tragedy. She met him in May 1951. Dennis was handsome, with dark brown eyes, and a smile that could melt any woman's heart. He began with a casual question, "Do you have a light?" But that simple spark ignited a fire she could never put out. Every day, she received flowers, sweet words, and romantic dates that made her believe in love again. Within just 5 weeks, Dennis convinced Diana that she had found her soulmate, and she agreed to marry him, ignoring every warning from friends and colleagues. But marriage quickly turned into a prison. Dennis was not the devoted husband she had imagined. He controlled everything, her roles, her schedule, even her finances. His ambition was to use Diana as both a money machine and a stepping stone for his own fame. When the legendary Laurence Olivier invited her to star in The Beggar's Opera, a golden opportunity to prove herself as a serious actress, Dennis coldly forced her to turn it down, claiming the pay wasn't high enough. To him, art meant nothing. Only fame and profit did. As time went on, Dennis's cruelty grew more apparent. He dragged Diana into secret arrangements within the entertainment world where beauty was traded for favours and opportunities. Friends later revealed that Dennis was the one who arranged her meetings with powerful producers and directors, not to advance her career, but to satisfy his own twisted ambitions. Gradually, Diana became a puppet pulled between fame and humiliation, trapped in a world where her brilliance was being used against her. After years of enduring both emotional and physical abuse, Diana finally found the courage to leave her toxic husband. But the price was devastating. Dennis, furious over losing his golden goose, held her at gunpoint and forced her to sign papers transferring most of her assets into his name. Though she escaped with her life, Diana was left with nothing except a bruised sense of dignity and a pile of unpaid bills. To cover her divorce costs and mounting debts, she had to start over from scratch. In desperation, she launched a musical variety tour across Britain called The Diana Dors Show, managed by Joe Collins, the father of actresses Jackie and Joan Collins. On stage, Diana shone like the star she had once been, charming, glamorous, and full of energy. The tour was a huge success, helping her regain confidence and rekindling the artistic spark she thought she had lost forever. It was during those performances that fate introduced her to Richard Dawson, a handsome comedian with warm eyes and an easy smile who would later become the legendary host of Family Feud. Their connection was instant, and for the first time in years, Diana felt loved for who she truly was. She believed this was finally the beginning of real happiness. But the past has a way of refusing to let go. Her marriage to Richard soon fell apart as well, leaving her emotionally and financially drained. Diana was forced to declare bankruptcy, surrendering her US home and even custody of her son to her ex-husband to avoid seizure by the British tax authorities. Everything seemed to collapse again: love, career, and faith in herself. However, the success of her stage tour opened a new door on television, The Diana Dors Show, a comedy variety series written by Richard Dawson himself, continuing the style of her live performances. The show became a hit on British TV, running from 1959 to 1961. That success briefly revived her fading career. Throughout the 1970, Diana continued to capitalise on her sensual image, appearing in risque comedies such as The Amorous Milkman and Three for All, as well as starring in the sitcom Queenie's Castle, which ran for 3 seasons. She also made frequent appearances on TV shows, including Celebrity Squares. Yet, her adventurous spirit and taste for scandal kept her name splashed across the tabloids. In entertainment circles, Diana became infamous for her all-night parties filled with alcohol, glamour, and adult intrigue. Her home became a hotspot where celebrities mingled with beautiful young guests. Years later, one of her sons revealed that Diana had installed several 8mm cameras throughout her house. Instead of charging admission, she would film intimate encounters between rising actresses and famous stars with their consent, and kept the footage in her private collection. She reportedly enjoyed re-watching the tapes, fascinated by her own forbidden world. But with remarkable cunning, Diana managed to turn even her most scandalous moments into profit. She began writing books, and in 1960 released Swinging Doors, a bold, cheeky memoir that became a commercial hit. And that was only the beginning. In her final years, Diana wrote 4 more memoirs, among which Behind Closed Doors became the most talked about for its scandalous revelations about stars like Paul Newman and Sophia Loren. Yet, behind the bold, provocative writing was a deeply religious woman who never missed Sunday Mass and regularly donated to churches and charities. She could speak of Hollywood in the rawest, most unfiltered way, but within her heart, she still kept her faith in God. However, that faith didn't make her meek. Diana remained as rebellious as ever with a sharp sense of compassion. In 1972, she shocked the public by campaigning for prisoners' right to a full married life, a taboo topic at the time. Her stance stunned society, but it revealed her courage, the bravery of a woman unafraid to speak out for human rights, even when it brought criticism and scorn. Despite 2 failed marriages, Diana never lost faith in love. In 1968, she married actor Alan Lake, a passionate and handsome young man. They became one of Britain's most photographed couples, a love story the press adored, a match seemingly born from the ashes of her turbulent past. But the romance soon soured. Alan's heavy drinking and frequent bar fights led to multiple arrests. Even so, Diana stayed by his side, part wife, part caretaker, desperately trying to keep their home and love intact amid chaos. From her stormy marriages came 3 sons, Mark, Gary, and Jason. They were her pride and proof that inside the heart of this rebellious woman there was still the tenderness of a devoted mother. But fate was relentless. Years later, her youngest son, Jason, would also pass away at the age of 50 inches, the same heartbreaking way his mother had once feared most. In her later years, Diana's health declined rapidly. After surviving cancer, she was struck by meningitis, followed by thyroid issues that caused uncontrollable weight gain. For a woman once celebrated as a beauty icon, it felt like a cruel psychological sentence. Yet, Diana refused to crumble. She wrote books, recorded workout videos, and shared health and beauty tips infused with positivity. She even hosted her own fitness segment on television. Proof that the blonde bombshell could still shine through intellect and willpower, not just appearance, but fate dealt one final blow. In 1984, after years of battling illness, ovarian cancer took her life at age 52. At the time of her death, her career was enjoying a quiet revival. Her final film had just premiered, serving as a silent but luminous farewell. Alan Lake and their 3 sons stood by her coffin, saying goodbye not only to the woman they loved, but to a legend. The tragedy didn't end there. Just 5 months later, Alan took his own life. His death stirred new rumours, especially when Diana's final secret came to light. According to her son Mark, his mother hadn't left behind just a few pieces of jewellery and minor accounts, as official records claimed. She had once spoken of a hidden fortune worth $2 million scattered among several European banks. The story grew even stranger when it was revealed that Diana had left behind a coded key split into 2 parts, one for her son Mark and one for Alan. Mark spent years trying to decipher it, even hiring cryptography experts, but it was all in vain. And when Alan died, his half of the code vanished forever, taking with it the mystery of Diana Dors' lost fortune into the realm of legend. Today, people still call Diana the British Marilyn Monroe, but perhaps that comparison falls short. She was more than a symbol of beauty. She was a woman who dared to love, to live, and to defy a world that tried to define her. Between faith and sin, love and pain, light and darkness, Diana Dors wrote a story that continues to move hearts, one of courage, tragedy, and undeniable strength. She is gone. But her mysteries, her scandals, and her lost key still keep her name alive. The beautiful, daring woman who never surrendered to fate